Greetings, this is Kevin Jefferson, founder of the Forex Fam and followmytrades.com, here with Trade Theory on Tuesday, March 11, 2025. And I'm going to start with the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now, prices started to move a little bit more, as we know, over the last couple of days. And so I'm just going to come back and analyze where we've been and where we're headed. So we had this pullback off of this long a week or two ago. I had mentioned that price was pulling back and that the Dow was looking bearish, and it started to move lower consecutively over the last week or so. And so we're down here. We were up at this area when we were speaking last week about the 6th or 7th of March. We were close to this pullback point, which would have been a good sell entry point. So I decided to go ahead and put some take profit targets potentially on these pairs, on these indices and metals and crypto for today, just to kind of give us something to pay attention to. So there could be they'll obviously pull back here for a little bit, so a little bit of relief on maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday, which would equate to what we call a midweek reversal. So sometimes the price goes back opposite direction, and it could reset back up to this level that we spoke of previously, which is like the 42,997.78, right, it's just shy of 43,000, or it could continue lower. Even after pullback, it could continue lower, and so I'm eyeing some downside targets just to keep alert. 39,957.90 is maybe a first inflection point, but the real take profit I see on the downside, should price continue lower, would be about 38,969.94, so just shy of 39,000. That's on the Dow Jones. And so going to the NASDAQ, what we have here is price. We had a possible pullback point here. Price did give us an entry opportunity here. And right where we were talking about, price was pulling back, and we didn't know what was going to happen, but it stopped out here and gave us an entry on the lower time frame, and price is moving down. So like I said, Wednesday is what we would consider sometimes a midweek reversal point, and so the market may come back for a couple of days and reset higher. So we may gain 21, 24, maybe a couple hundred points on the market, on the NASDAQ in the next couple of days. But given that price doesn't reset all the way back up here to the 21,217.30 area, my first take profit for the S&P would be 17,733.40, and then the second one just a little bit lower than that, 17,540.3. So eyeing those targets, expecting a pullback at least over the next day or so, maybe ending the week in a pullback. So we'll have a bullish kind of reversal for the next part of this week. But I would, my thought is that would just set us up for a continuation lower into the following week. So just be mindful that price could pull back, and it doesn't mean that the market's resuming along, because it's still in a downtrend here on the daily. And so we want to be mindful of that. So I put these downside targets just to kind of give you something to look at and pay attention to. On the S&P 500, we have a possible pullback that happened up here. So price had dropped down to this area when I had reported a week ago, and then price had dropped lower. And so I set this as a pullback point. Price reached it and gave us an entry opportunity on the low side, and now it started to fall out. This is the same scenario as the previous chart, to where price could come back and reset up to this pullback point that we mentioned, the 5849.43. But another scenario is over the next couple of days, as I mentioned, that price just moves back and gives us a little bit of relief to the upside before possibly continuing all the way down lower to about the 5306.7, which is the take profit target on the S&P to the downside. And so going to metals, we're going to go to gold real quick. Gold is continuing higher. And so when I had spoken about gold about a week ago, we were in a V bottom, coming out of this V bottom right here, and price hadn't pulled back completely. So I set a possible long hypothesis entry area off of this pullback. What I expected to happen, it hadn't occurred yet, but what I could see, maybe a measured pullback, and it tapped us right there at the 28.96 area. So we got an entry opportunity there to go long. And so price is going up, and now just off the current information that we have, I have a take profit on the upside of about 29.4409, so just shy of 29.50. Price could continue higher, but that's the first target point. And what we use those for is, you can obviously take profits there, but also you can reassess the market and see if it's going to continue going higher. So if it does get there, we could see it continue higher, or maybe price will pull back on the, this is a daily chart, but this is the weekly move that I see on the downside as well. So right now the price has done exactly what we expected a week ago. It V bottom out of here and gave us a pullback off of that V bottom to get in long, and confirming that long with these parallel bars here. So looking for price to continue higher on gold as well. Going to WTI crude. Crude is a little bit higher today. I had a sell entry here, which we spoke of, and price got there. Let me zoom in a little bit. Price got there and gave us that opportunity to get in short. Now, I think that price is starting to decelerate here, so we could actually come back one more time and reset up here. It could completely reset up to this area, but there's definitely an opportunity to price back to the 68.39, 68.40 area and give us maybe another opportunity to enter short on oil. But at this point, it did go lower and then give us a brief retreat to where we could have gotten in short on this trade about a week ago. So now price is starting to stall, so be mindful that price could reverse long on WTI crude if you're trading crude oil or commodities such as that. And then the last thing we're going to look at is crypto. So we're going to look at Bitcoin, which has been falling, and we had spoken to that as well. And just going back to where we had these two entry areas that I set up last week. And this was the entry area that was of the most interest because price had already moved away from here. But this candle right here specifically was a red candle when it was bearish when I was speaking last week. So we didn't know how far down it was going to go before coming up. But based on what the measurement said and what the math said, that this would be an entry area. And so price, this candle closed bullish and higher than where it started for that day. And then it pulled right back up here nicely into our sell entry area, giving us a sell opportunity on Bitcoin right here. And now price is pulling back. It's going lower and now it's pulling back. So I have this as a possible retreat area. The 84.091. 84.157.73 area is a possible pullback zone before price continues lower. I don't know if I have a downside target here. Let me see if I can. Okay, I can zoom in. So if price pulls back here, I have a downside target of 63,924.60. So getting down to about 60,000 if price continues lower on Bitcoin, which it has done quite nicely from when we started about 3 or 4 weeks ago talking about price falling on Bitcoin. It's just continuing to sell. But mind you, as I mentioned about the indices and about other things, price could be reversing tomorrow, what we call a midweek reversal. So price could get some upside relief. And we're looking at, that's where that pullback area of the 84,000 area starts to come into play because price could go back higher a little bit. It may continue higher, but that's definitely the first checkpoint to see what price does. So everything right now is kind of moving in accordance with what it projected to be when we analyzed it a week or two ago. Actually, we've analyzed it every week, and it's kind of continued to follow the same script that we were discussing and hypothesizing. So I use daily charts to share this with you because we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves into the true speculation range when we're talking about weekly and monthly moves. Daily moves are enough, and so that's enough for us to kind of get an insight into what the market wants to do. Hope this is valuable for you. Use this at your advantage. You can do whatever you choose to do as far as trading the markets or maybe buying certain instruments to take advantage of what's happening in the markets. But whatever you do, I hope it benefits you. And until next time, enjoy the day and happy trading.